we talk about how Trump ended 3 wars in 6 months?
What fucking war did
He hasn't ended any wars. Russian roulette on this one.
Yo, what's up?
Jonathan, hello. What's going on? How old are you?
22.
Drew, appreciate the 10. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'll read that in just a second. All right. What's going on, Jonathan? What's your take?
So yeah, I do know why I support Trump. See, I don't agree with everything he says, but he's obviously the lesser of two evils. My choice is either picking the party who doesn't stand up for someone who has cancer and just completely disrespects someone who is suffering, or someone who respects communities and doesn't, I know, like, be disrespectful to a lot of marginalized communities, like the Democrats have been
Trump
doing.
is both of them.
Trump
laughed at Biden's cancer.
Okay, no, he did not.
So yeah, he did.
No, he did
said
not.
he had stage 9 cancer, and then said, I passed a cognitive test. You think he could do that? He did make fun of his cancer
stage
diagnosis.
9 cancer. It was on the. I can't remember what it's called.
He
it's
made
like
fun of his
it was
cancer
the aggressiveness
diagnosis, then
scale.
brought
it was
up.
Like the aggressiveness scale or
right.
something.
He
said,
called it stage 9 cancer, which he should know that doesn't fucking exist, and then
but you know what
insisted that
meant.
his
He
health.
meant,
Hey,
like,
shut up! He insisted that his health was better. Why would you even bring that into comparison? Well,
I
if
don't
a
know.
person who has cancer.
Maybe because Joe Biden has
think that's
been
respectful?
fucking up the country for 20
Do
years.
you think that is
20
respectful?
years,
That's
4
not
years.
what we're talking about. We're not talking about what he did. We're talking about whether or not he gives respect to cancer patients.
He does.
He doesn't.
Yes, he does.
That was a disrespectful thing for him to
We
do.
talk
Was to
about DJ
compare
Daniel?
to compare his own health to a cancer patient is disgusting and disrespectful. Also, the defunding of cancer treatment is hardly
defunded, it
a
was
sign of
paused.
respect. Yes, he
It was
has. He
paused.
defunded the 9/11
No,
First
it was-
Responders Fund,
It was
which
paused
treats people
to,
affected with cancer.
No,
So
it
it's
was
okay to
paused
pause it then.
Investigate fraud and.
Gotcha. So that is the lesser of two evil, is pausing some non-existent fraud for 9/11
They
survivors.
are still getting funding. It was just paused for a short time.
Jonathan,
Then
can you
what
tell
is the
me?
alternative?
Can you tell me an Jonathan? Can you tell me an inspector general that has had to freeze funding to do an investigation prior to Trump? Why would that even matter? What does that have to do with accounting? What are you talking about? The FBI doesn't have to freeze funds to investigate the fraud. They do freeze funds frequently to keep it from moving.
Don't spend all this money on something that might be like not using that money for what it's for.
So remove it from 9/11 survivors. Hold on. So wait, hold on a second. So remove it from 9/11
Kennedy, Evans,
survivors.
no one died
because
up.
of the actual fraud.
No one died.
Dude, stop. You're about to go.
I'm sorry.
I want to point this out that there is a former Doge employee that pointed out that they found virtually no fraud.
Yeah. Okay. They were still. That's why they paused it though. It's just they're trying to find it.
Why they
They're just-
paused it so
sure.
they denied for that time period people from having access to health care over something that didn't
No,
end
it
up
was on the
happening with
research.
no
The
evidence.
research
Wait, can I take
Cool.
this
What
one,
was
please?
the reason they what was the reason they did it? That's the only thing I want to ask. What was the reason they did it?
To pause it.
Like what? No. What gave them justification for it? See, appreciate the sub. Thank you. What gave them justification for it?
The justification was to so we know that we're not spending a ton of money on money that is going to a purpose that is like.
So we
No,
already
what was
know
the-
that.
what was
we
the
already
reason?
know that they weren't doing that.
What do you mean? What was the reason? I already said the reason.
What would have prompted him to think that there was fraud going on?
I mean, because there was fraud going on in USAID and other.
Was there any
stuff.
other? Okay, well that's not tied to USA, but was there any kind of flagging? Was there any kind of report that indicated fraud coming out of a 9/11 first responders cancer treatment?
Doge was checking all the.
Then why would you need to freeze it?
Sure, if we're going to spend all this money on something, it better be going to this cause.
Why would you need to freeze it? You understand that that is weeks worth of efforts that was sidelined. Not only
No,
that, but
it was
federal
billion.
grant
They already
freezes.
have billions of dollars.
1 second, there was okay. Why stop it? There was
I know,
federal
but it
grant
just
freezes
paused.
going
They
into
still had money.
scientific research. Additionally, he defrauded children's cancer charities and was found liable of that in 2019. And you want to argue that he is the person, he's the arbiter of respect for people with cancer?
Well, more than the Democrats who just
Tell me what
disrespected
Democrats have
DJ
done that was
Daniel
as
completely.
bad. On the subject of cancer, don't change it to anything else, okay? Because
Okay.
you made that claim. What have Democrats done that is as bad as freezing federal grants for cancer research, as bad as defunding the 9/11 first responders unit, as bad as insulting the former president with cancer?
What have they done is that bad? Like anything?
On the subject of cancer.
Oh, I'm not sure. I haven't done a ton of research on Democrat cancer.
Well, if that's the
research.
lesser of two evils,
I mean, I can go into another reason why I support Trump. I mean,
So
I
you
already said
can't
that
answer
one.
that.
You guys cannot.
I mean,
debunk me.
all of those things in a vacuum indicate that he's the worst possible person in the room on the
No,
subject
he doesn't.
of
And
cancer.
also, another reason why I support Trump is because he doesn't let a million immigrants, illegal immigrants, into the country every year.
Well, Molly
No, he
Terry
lets him
did
into the
it.
White House.
Expensive.
No, he lets him into the White House.
Oh, what? Hey, Deborah, shut the fuck up.
Can you get out the comments, please?
Okay.
Well, people are
I
adding.
mean, if you're
gotta-
failing
you
so
gotta-
badly in the debate up here, at least take it to the comments.
Dude, I'm not. I'm not. You
Well,
guys
you
are.
are.
literally
You
getting
just said
toast.
you didn't have an answer for the first thing we
With the
pressed you on.
cancer stuff.
Yes, you said that he's better for people with cancer or something along those lines. You said he doesn't disrespect people with cancer. That's what you said, right?
I know. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
and he
If
did.
you said Joe
does
Biden,
when
who
he
was the
defrauds
president of
children
the
cancer
United States, who
charities.
was getting, who let millions of illegals into the country, which is,
He didn't let people in.
He let
And
them?
he was a
Trump had
fucked up person.
Trump had illegal crossings as well.
Yeah, way less. You know, Trump's crossings is like, I think per month it was the Joe Biden's term was around like hundreds of thousands, and Trump is like thousands.
Can you tell me what Biden era policy shift would have caused such spikes in migration rates?
He's didn't actively patrol the border. He didn't care about it.
So he did. That's why he pressed
Him
for the link
pers-
for cinema border bill. He got Mexico to agree to $1.5 billion in smart border security. He
appreciate the
added
sub?
troops at the border.
Okay.
Do you
But
appreciate
it
the
still
sub?
didn't
Thank you.
work because he doesn't know what he's doing, does he?
Okay, well, Trump doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, he obviously fixed the border problem.
He didn't fix any problem.
Yes, he did.
The
There was
listen,
hundreds of
this is
thousands
what
coming in
MAGA
every month, and now
frequently
there's only,
excludes
like,
from the
a few
conversation is
thousand.
that this is what you guys frequently exclude from the conversation is that month-over-month border crossings from the last year, okay, around this time last year, have been on the decline, some of its lowest rates since 2020. This is a trend of downward crossings, and you're trying to attribute that solely to Trump. At least give your due diligence to the fact that this trend started under Biden.
I mean, there was a clear drop when Trump became president.
There was a
in
clear
Biden.
drop when Biden signed his executive order in July. Month over
July
month border
when?
crossings have been on the trajectory of downward.
Dude, you're coping so hard.
That's not a
Is there a
cope.
source? Is there a source?
Did
buddy?
that or did not happen?
Give a
Yes.
source, buddy.
Customs and Border Patrol's annual monthly reports show that July, August, and September showed some of the lowest border rates.
I don't know.
I'm trying to tell you, man.
Trump's term.
I'm trying to
It's still
tell
way
you
higher.
what happened. Why are you crashing out?
I'm not.
Then why are you interrupting me?
I'm not, buddy.
You just did.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm
alright.
sorry.
Showed
Go
that month over month
Okay.
apprehensions, okay, in the final year of his administration were lower than they were prior to him taking office.
So wait, hold on. I wasn't really listening. Sorry. Can you say that again?
No,
Okay.
get out of the comments.
Okay.
I'm
sorry,
saying that this is not a shift in policy here, okay? And you
Yeah,
can't
obviously
tell me
it was,
what
'cause
exactly
Trump
caused
said-
them to come.
Trump
You
said
can't
six
tell me
thousand
what
border
exactly
protected
Biden
border
did.
and-
Stop interrupting, man. You can't tell me what exactly Biden did to cause those numbers to spike in the first place and are falsely attributing that to him.
Well, I don't know what he did, but it was obviously higher.
Do you know why?
Why?
Did something happen perhaps in the last 5 years that caused global instability, massive rates of crime and poverty, particularly in the
COVID?
global south? Yes. And did perhaps a few COVID-era policies expire during that time, like Title 42?
That expired.
Was there perhaps
Like,
a
a few years ago.
backlog of cases at the border of asylum seekers from COVID?
Dude, you
So
are
yes,
so
all
stupid.
of those things in a vacuum. I'm talking circles around you, my guy.
Nobody, you're not.
Okay, well, you have yet to rebut anything I've said. But all of those things in a vacuum, in a concentrated period of time, a very small window of time, led to influxes of border crossings.
Okay.
Okay,
But
that's
it
not a
doesn't matter.
Biden policy.
No, but as soon
a
as Trump
matter
got
of
into office, the border
circumstance.
crossings.
I'm telling
way
you
down.
that did not happen as soon as he took
Yes,
office.
they did.
That was
They
on
went
the
into free fall,
trajectory.
buddy.
I gave you the numbers from July of last year, had been at its lowest, had been trending downwards.
Okay,
Trump
okay.
inherited good border numbers.
No, listen. So what was the border crossing in July of last year?
I'll pull them up for you. What's the point you want to make when I do?
I just want to know.
What's the point you want to make when I do?
I just
What
want to know
relevance is it?
before I make a point, right?
Okay, why?
Because you said it's the lowest, and I want to compare that to what it is now.
I'm saying at that point it was the lowest.
Okay.
And I've
Doesn't
told you
matter when
already
it's still
it is
high.
I'm told you already it wasn't high, it was at its lowest point. I'm telling you already its trajectory has been on the decline.
Okay. Yo, everyone.
So
follow
obviously
up.
it is lower now. It's trending. Do you know what a trend is? It's called a trend line.
Okay. It wasn't. It doesn't. Data doesn't normally
you
just
laughing at?
drop off. That's not like a normal thing that happens. Obviously, there's a policy.
It
shift
does when
from-
there's yes, his July executive order that capped border crossing at a certain threshold and prompted people to be turned down.
Yeah, but it was still much higher than it was during Trump because Trump sent.
I explained
down-
why. I explained the key
Buddy.
reasons why that have
Buddy.
nothing to do with Biden policy.
Hey,
Title
Tona, shut the
42
fuck up.
expired. Excuse me. Title
Sorry.
42 expired. There was an influx in crime in the global south and poverty nationwide due to COVID. Also, the backlog of cases at the border from that period from asylum seekers.
I mean, are you? If you don't clearly see the drop in border crossing, you try to say this is Biden.
Bro!
He did not do this.
You can't argue this with me, man. You know, you
Okay,
can't be
this
stupid.
is not going anywhere. Can we talk
Clearly,
about something else?
You're not comprehending anything.
Can
I'm
we talk
saying.
about how Trump ended 3 wars in 6 months?
What fucking war did
He
he?
hasn't ended any
The,
wars.
the Israel-Iran, Pakistan,
did not
India.
end.
Israel
and,
Iran, it's a
there's another
And
ceasefire.
one.
also, funnily
The
enough,
ceasefire is
none
not
of
an
those
end to a
countries
war.
have cited him for their ceasefire agreements.
Huh?
None of those nations credited him.
Oh yeah. Indian's prime minister said thank you, Trump, for helping.
He literally
they
said he
didn't.
had nothing to do with it.
No,
Same
they
That
with
is not true.
Pakistan.
That is not true.
Modi, I'll pull it up right now. Modi literally said Trump had nothing to
He
do
left.
with it. Listen, if you're not, these are simple. We just live in a world of dumb people. That's really all I have to say about that.
Yep.